apologize for the technical difficulty.
Yeah. Go ahead and finish up, Dub.
But yeah, no, that's pretty much just where I feel like uh I would feel as far as like how I would feel about Ugly Gang translating over to WWE. If I had to be honest with you, and this is no slight towards either or, I feel like for what I want to accomplish, it's probably better off in AEW, unfortunately, in the sense of growing up, WWE was the one we were around. So when I
Mm-hmm.
first came into the business, there was no AEW. So the end game was WWE at the time. AEW becomes an option while I'm in the business, and now I'm like either or. Now there's always going to be that part of my preteen years that's like I want it to be WWE, but at the end of the day, whichever brand is willing to get my vision across the way I want the vision to come across is the brand that I'll go with, right? The one
Mm-hmm.
that corrupts it the least, in a sense. I know there's going to be tweaks. There's going to be certain things I want to do that they're just going to be like, no, we're not doing that. And some of that stuff I'll be able to fight them on. Some of that stuff I'm going to have to just accept. So as long as it's not detrimental to what I'm trying to get across overall, I'll move on it. But I have so many cool ideas that I'm like, I feel like have never been done when it comes to like storytelling, wrestling wise, building characters, building backstory, building future programs that would just it adds a sense of realism to what we're doing, but it also freshens up things that people have seen done in wrestling. And I just don't know if all of those ideas the big machines get behind, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, people still have in their head what's acceptable and what's not acceptable.
That's
So I
true.
could pitch these ideas to people that come from real life experience that correlate to what I'm trying to do, that would make sense and help tell a story. But because it's not a lifestyle that they're from or something that they're comfortable with, they may not be okay with portraying it that way. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if there's a middle ground for us to be happy on overall, then by all means, have at it. Let's get my boys on contract because that's the whole purpose to get notoriety to them, right? Um, but it has to be done right. I think the iteration. So the idea about the sets, if I bring that into play before Ugly Gang ever gets picked up by WWE or AW, then by the time they get to it, they kind of have to play by my rules, right? Because the whole world knows it for this one thing, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what got the attention on it. So it's kind of like, how do you do that? Finn Balor builds a Bullet Club before he gets signed to NXT. They bring him over. He didn't really do a lot of club stuff. He had the club, which was their iteration of it. But the minute he could get away from it, he did because it wasn't his vision of what the Bullet Club was supposed to be. That was WWE's vision of Bullet Club.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the vision he had. So the minute they gave him an opportunity to do something different, he took it and he has not looked back at it. Yeah, he'll too sweet AJ Styles and anybody else that's in WWE that's been a part of the club that ends up in the ring with him, he'll too sweet them at some point in time just to pop the audience. But he
Mm-hmm.
don't go back to teasing that he's going back to Bullet Club Finn because he's not. Because what he wants Bullet Club to be is not what WWE is willing to portray.
Yeah. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, if what I want Ugly Gang to be isn't what WWE or AEW would be what they want to portray Ugly Gang as, then I'm not gonna let them touch Ugly Gang because at the end of the day, it's been proven that you can build the notoriety to be a worldwide known wrestling thing internationally without those major machines. You just have to do things right, map it out properly, and actually spend time on what that looks like. Not hoping you're going to get lucky, but actually spending time planning and mapping it out and then
Mm-hmm.
executing, right? So it's still possible. And if you sign me as a wrestler And your idea is I'm gonna sign him, let him wrestle for a little bit, and we're gonna bring Ugly Gang and do our thing with Ugly Gang because they so popular right now, right? And then you pitch that to me, and I'm like, I don't really like the vision you have for the gang, so no. But then you keep me on roster for a little bit, let me wrestle a couple times, build my notoriety up some, and then finally, all right, well, if you're not gonna let us touch the game, we're gonna release you. All that does is build my name up for when I get released. Then what happens? Well, one, I got a bigger bankroll to kind of push my gang now. So we can really kind of start diving into some better stuff to make ourselves look like an official thing. But now I've got former WWE talent behind my name. So when I go to these promotions, like, hey, here's this idea I have for my faction and what I'm about to do. Now they're willing to listen to me more because, oh, well, you've been with the company. You got eyes on you. We just going to do what you want to do because that's all they do. And now I can really build the gang how I want. Because now these indie promoters, I love a lot of them, but the truth of the matter is a lot of them don't have a spine when it comes to people that's been in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll let these guys. They'll a lot of these promoters will fight us tooth and nail for $120, and then let these guys come in and get away with doing the bare minimum for 1,500. You know what I'm saying? But then we'll expect a 5-star match for us for $60 and be like, well, can you do under 100 and then give me your best match possible, and then let them come in and as former WWE talents and take 2 or 3 bumps for the match for almost 2 grand and just go in and do little small stuff and get the crowd real hype or say their catchphrase, bump, bump, put the guy over, leave, 2 grand. And then I'm like, hey, can I get this little 3-digit number? Well, we don't really know if it's in the budget. You think you can do this? We want a 20-minute match from you, ladder match, stream rules, through the table, and we trying to talk you down on your price. And that's how they do. So flip side, I'll take that to my advantage. If I can get signed by WWE or AEW and they don't want to put Ugly Gang the way I want them to put Ugly Gang, well, then we'll just hold Ugly Gang until I'm released. And I got notoriety to let these promoters kind of just move how I want them to move. And then we'll do it the right way with a little better financing behind it. And then now it's a big thing the way I want it to be built. So if WWE comes back knocking or AEW comes back knocking, we really want to do Ugly Gang. All right, well, you see what Ugly Gang is. That's what people expect it to be. So that's what they're going to be expecting. So if you want to do Ugly Gang, you have to do it the way it is. I'm not changing it. But if you're not willing to do it the way it is, then no, we're good without you. And then at that point, if I truly am good without them, they have to move my way because it's like, dang, we want that money to be in our account. So we got to do the way he wants to do it if we want to use Ugly Gang.
Mm-hmm.
I'll hold him
I think
hostage. I gotta outlast him. That's the thing.
I think the one that I believe that won't mess it up would be Tony Khan. I don't think Tony Khan, because he's such a fan of wrestling. I don't see him messing it up like the Machine would, because the Machine would
Right.
want to make it their own and do it their way. Whereas Tony Khan, he's so much of a fan. It's like, okay, just if I give you the blueprint or give you this, this, or this, I'll let you take care of it from there. Just like what they did with the Hurt Syndicate.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like that's why I feel like AEW would be a better fit for Gang, honestly, because I feel like if he sees Ugly Gang and falls in love with Ugly Gang the way they are, then that's what he wants in AEW. He doesn't want his own version of that. He wants that version in AEW to say he signed. He wants to be able to put that Ugly Gang is all elite graphic up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And then when people watch the product, he wants them to see the same thing that got them to be fans of Ugly Gang, not our version of what got you to be fans of Ugly Gang.
Mm-hmm.
So AW probably is a better fit for the group. All he would do is say, you and the gang, this is y'all story that y'all are, this is who y'all are involved in with the program. This is the story we want to tell. How would the gang tell that story? And then leave it up to us to get that story across. And if
Mm-hmm.
that's what they do, they can have Ugly Gang all day. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to have control over who we're going over and under on. I don't need to have control over who's in title pictures, who's not in title pictures. I don't need to have control over who wins the titles and who don't win the titles out of the group. I just need your stories to make sense and the people we lose to not to kill our credibility. And that's all I care about. If You have us doing something where at the end of the night, it makes people look at 5 people in a group and say they're not serious, they're not a serious threat, then what you have done is compromised my vision for the game. Because I want it to be when we're babyface, yeah, this is fun. This is something I want to be a part of. But when we're heel, I want there to be a sense of danger. Not just for the not just for the wrestlers, but for referees, for commentary, even some fans. And I know that comes with like planting people in the audience and
Mhm.
trying to make things look authentic, which I have experience with doing. Um, but I want people like if we're not good, if we are not good people for that promotion, if we are heel gang, I want our music to feel like a warning. Like, let me make sure I'm not the person that pisses them off. Or let me make sure I'm not the reason they coming out here type deal. And that's what it should feel like. When Bullet Club would turn on somebody in their group, the whole arena felt it. Think about it. When Kenny turned on AJ and took over as the cleaner for Bullet Club on his way out, go back and watch that clip from New Japan. Watch how quiet, and Japan audience is already quiet. Watch how much
Mhm.
quieter they get
Mm-hmm.
because they're just like, yo, the equivalent to that in an American crowd is Seth Rollins hitting Roman Reigns with the steel chair.
Mm-hmm.
That big, that one, when you watch that clip back, yeah, you see the moment, but there's one moment in that clip that stands out to everybody, and it's that one man yelling no right before he hits the chair. You hear it clear as day, and you can tell he's not close. He is in the cheap seats, but it is so disheartening to everybody that no matter how soft or how loud he said it, everybody heard it because they all felt it, because they all connected to that story. See what I'm saying? And they felt the despair. That's how legit I need my group to feel. If we kick somebody out the group, I need the whole audience to feel it. If we do something dastardly or just devious, downright disgusting, distasteful, I want everybody to be disgusted by it. Unless you're gang, people that support the gang. Because I did say when I first started the Ugly Gang was like, I don't want us to lean into being heel and baby faces. Either you support the gang or you don't support the gang. And if you support the gang, you support the gang whether we doing good or bad. That's just all to it. All right. So if we out
Yeah.
here being assholes and you're a member of the gang in the audience, you still cheering us because you support what we do. You don't care if it's on this line of morality or not. You support us and vice versa. You do something that's questionable within reason, obviously, because this is still wrestling and we have some creeps. But you do something that's questionable, we 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 don't question what you do. We got your back. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
All
know who to
right.
call if I have any problems.
That's what I'm
I'm
saying. We
calling.
stand 10 toes down for all. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
Now, if
calling
you ain't gang,
Rayhan.
we ain't got your back. But if you gang, we got your back through and through. You feel me? So
Yeah. Well, we appreciate
Hold on.
your.
You know I gotta ask my last question, bro.
Oh,
You
oh,
messing.
oh,
You
oh.
messing up the flow.
Dang,
You
dang,
messing up the
dang,
flow, bro.
dang,
You look. You done got my voice all extra
uh,
high.
dang,
You done
dang,
got my
ain't gonna
voice
rub
dang,
it
all
like
extra
that just
high.
yet. Not quite. Not
dang,
quite.
dang,
Ah, I love
dang.
it.
Hey,
Love
bro,
it.
like
The
you done
Mario
got my
sound.
voice
Love
all
it.
high. Got my voice all
Yes.
high, like bro. You ain't got no more questions.
Nah,
All right.
nah.
So I end every show like this.
Okay.
If you could see anybody on our show, who would that be? But, but you have to help us get that person on the show.
I have to help you get that person on the show. Ooh, that's a good one.
I got somebody in
Any,
mind, but I want to see if you say it.
you got somebody in mind. I'm probably not gonna say who you got in mind. Um, just because I be trying to think of people that. So here's my thing. I'm going to answer your question, but I'm going to give a little bit of backstory of how my process works.
Okay.
So, my least favorite people in the wrestling business overall are wrestling influencers. All right. Now, it's not to say like podcast people and things like that necessarily. I'm going to drop some names here. And I want to preface this by saying I have no personal grievances against any of these people individually. It's literally just their career choice as a wrestling influencer. People like Sean Ross Sapp,
Mm,
Malcolm Muscle.
mm,
These people now, Sean Ross Sapp gets a little bit of leeway with me because he's done some matches, he wrestles, he's done some training before, so he's not completely on the influencer side. He has touched the wrestling side as well. But you get a lot of these influencers that come into the wrestling business and they want to come off of the influencer side and go into the wrestling side as influencers and make it about themselves, right? I'm a very big believer in wrestling is supposed to be about the wrestlers. And if you're coming in to highlight the wrestlers, then you should highlight the wrestlers, not yourself. Does everybody need some type of stick for their content? I'm sure to make it different from what everybody else is doing. Yeah, your stuff does need to stand out. But you're not a wrestler. You don't need a gimmick, right? It's not about you. Your whole job is to bring highlight to people that it's supposed to be about. And it's not about you because that's not what the business. Nobody's coming to become a wrestling fan because of the influencer they saw. Oh, Casanat was at WrestleMania, so I want to be a wrestling fan. No, didn't nobody turn to WrestleMania because Casanat was at WrestleMania. They just tweeted viral clips about him being at a wrestling show, but they didn't gain no viewers. So when that's the case, and Ty is one of the most biggest, probably the biggest influencer in the world outside of Drewski right now, right? And he comes in and just does his thing in a wrestling environment. He doesn't make it about him. This is what I do everywhere. I'm just doing it in a wrestling environment, right? So he didn't add anything onto it. It doesn't take away from the wrestlers. But then you have people like Malcolm Muscle, which once again, no personal beef against him. I don't have any grievances. It's not like I'm gonna see him and be like, "Oh, Malcolm, I hate this guy." No, that's not the case. It's just you are in a space to highlight wrestlers and you use most of your stuff to highlight yourself. You get the opportunity to interview these wrestlers in press conferences, and the first thing you do is go to your Waffle House gimmick to get yourself over. What's your Waffle House order? Don't nobody give a damn about these people's Waffle House order, but that's your gimmick.
I
So now we've
understand.
gotten away from the wrestling and gotten into the influencers doing what got the influencer famous to keep the influencer famous. And it takes the highlight off of the wrestler. So I'd always said in my head, if people like Sean Rossap come up to me once I start getting some notoriety and say, "Hey, I would like to interview," my answer is going to be no, interview this person instead. And it's going to be someone who does not have eyes on them because that's what your platform is for, to introduce people that don't have eyes on them. I don't want to watch your podcast if you're interviewing the same people that 20 other podcasts have interviewed. If everybody interviews Cody Rhodes and then you come to me and say, "Hey, can you watch my podcast?" And I say, "Who's the first person you interview?" And you say Cody Rhodes, I'm not watching your podcast. I've seen everything I need to see about Cody Rhodes. I don't even know no more about Cody. I know everything about Cody. His biracial baby that saved racism. I know everything about that. I don't need to know nothing else about Cody Rhodes. Okay? So if you come to me as a podcast, a special influencer, and ask me the question you guys asked, about who should be on this podcast, I want someone that people don't know about, but should know about. Because that's what the platform should be used for. If a million people know about me and you bring me on your podcast, the only person getting the rub is you guys. I don't care if I get a rub off your podcast. If I'm giving you guys a rub off your podcast, that's good. But at the end of the day, if I can give you guys a rub off your podcast and give another wrestler who should have a highlight on them that's not getting a highlight a rub, then my job is done. So that being said, who would I want on your show? Gabriel Kai. I mentioned him earlier. Gabriel Kai would be who I put on the show. Gabriel is a Pacific Islander wrestler. bigger dude, curly hair, lots of high energy, very good in the ring. And every time I see him, I wonder why he's not booked more.
What's his last name?
Kai, Kai, Gabriel Kai.
Okay.
Um, Now, with that being said, I want to know who you had in mind, because just because I help you get Gabriel don't mean I can't help you get somebody else.
Your best friend
My best friend, I have a
said.
lot of best friends. Oh, Sid. I
Yeah.
could talk to Sid. I could talk to Sid. I could talk to Sid. Um, I'll reach out to Sid this week. I'll reach out to Sid this week. I'll talk to him. Um,
So I will
we
tell you, um, Zay. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. Zay and Jordan, when I asked them that question, they both said Rayhan.
oh, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
yeah.
so here's the thing with Zay and Jordan that you guys, everybody has to realize. Zay and Jordan gets a side of me that is the rawest Rayhan. So when y'all ask them questions like that and that's their answers, because they expect me to be on my worst behavior. Simple as that. That's literally all it is. Zay and Jordan they ride in cars with me. They get fully unfiltered Rayhan at all time. We hang out, we do stuff, because I told them when they first joined the gang, I said, this can't be just wrestling. Like, if our bond on screen is to come off genuine, we have to have a genuine relationship. We got to be friends outside of here. We can't just be people who show up to shows because we got matches together and think people that's going to correlate to chemistry. No, that's not how it works. So we got to spend time together. We go out, we hang out, we do stuff. We do watch parties where we watch the PLEs together. We get up and go and do stuff out in the city. We record promos together. We go hang out. Oh, we're going to get up and play GM mode on 2K as a group. We do that. We spend time together and build that bond. Um, but because they do that, also they get the side of Rayhan that not everybody gets to see. Now, I will say this: if everybody saw that side of me, I probably would be one of the most popular people in the business. Okay, assuming I don't get canceled first.
Oh,
But it's very, it's kind of like how I am with my personal training job. It's one of those things where, like, the minute I walk through the door, the energy in the building changes because they know I'm about to be on some BS in a good way. Um, but I'm about to. I don't care where you're at, energy wise, for the day. You're going to have to experience Rayhan where he's at, whatever that looks like. And most times, it's probably stuff that should get me fired from a corporate America scene. But because people have gotten used to me as who I am, they accept it for what it is. And it's never anything like offensive or crossing any lines in the sense of, like, especially with wrestling, when the whole speaking out movement and stuff like that. It's never anything like that. There's never anything that's like, oh, Rayhan's out here sexually harassing people. No, nope. I still very much respect people's boundaries. It's just I don't have a filter in what I say, and I also don't have control over my body. So sometimes I just be doing stuff. And you might question me on why I'm doing it, and I don't have an answer for you. You just gonna have to accept the fact that I did it.
so we also talked about the fact of possibly if we can get all three of you guys together on this show at once. Do you think we could make that happen?
How good are you guys with chaos?
Hey, I'm I am a 10-year vet of the United States Army,
Okay, so
been
you're
been deployed to Afghanistan.
you're
So
acclimated.
I can handle chaos. Bars, can you?
Bars, how you
Bro,
feel?
bro, do you understand how many situations we've been in since we started podcasting
You right, you right.
before we even got this far, that I was cool, calm and collected, and I was just sitting there like this stuff don't rattle me, man. This is fun, bro. Like, let's
Bro,
do
this is perfect. Hey, if y'all cool with it, I think it'd be great. It's going At the very least, you'll get a lot of clippable content out of it. At the very least, uh, but I think that'd be good. I think it's honestly it would be great for people to see how we all interact with each other between the three of us,
it. Mhm.
because that is a vibe they don't get to see very often.
Mhm.
But just understand that this is my first time getting to have face to faces with you guys. So there's a level of comfortability that is starting to grow. And I think y'all can kind of feel it with how I was talking throughout the podcast. I'm starting to get a little bit more loose with my talk as we got a little further into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just know by the time we get to the next time, I'm probably going to be fully comfortable with you. And then we're adding two people that I'm 100% comfortable with. So you just going to have to take Reyhan at full face at that point. So, hey, that's a wild statement. As I said it, I was like, no, that ain't right. But I couldn't get it back either. It was already out there. So it was just like,
Hey,
hey, yeah,
pause.
yeah, I earned that one. I earned that one. I earned that one. That's okay.
So
I earned that one.
what I'm gonna do is, does Gabriel have an Instagram or X or anything I can go get information off of to maybe email him or anything like that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Instagram is just Gabriel Kai. Um, very simple. I believe his X is the same, but I know for sure that IG is Gabriel Kai, and he's active on there because me and him talk on there pretty often. Um,
Okay, I will reach out to him probably tomorrow,
Perfect.
and I will work on, because Jordan reposts a lot of our stuff too, so
Absolutely.
I will work on talking with Jordan and Zay, and maybe I can get them to give me a date and time that I can hit back with you with what they said, and then we can all just hey,
Yeah.
we can get all three of y'all. It's gonna be a party.
Well, me and Zay literally stay a mile away from each other. So,
Oh, that's
at worst
even better.
worst case scenario, I just go to his house and have his wife make me some empanadas while we do the podcast. She owe us some empanadas. And if we say empanadas, and Jordan will come over too, and we can all be in the same location if we need to be at that point. We just gotta let his wife know she need to make some empanadas, and we all there. But if I gotta pick him up and scoop him and take him somewhere just to do the podcast that day, I'll do that too. You get the time, and I'll make it work. Whatever time they say, I'll make it work, and I'll probably move my clients off. If it's like an evening, I'll probably move my evening clients to another day just so we don't run into an issue like today where they have to push sessions back, and then I end up getting here almost 2 hours after we were supposed to record. So, um,
All right. I will.
but yeah,
The first person I'll reach out to is Jordan, because he's very active when it comes to speaking with us and reposting our stuff. I'll reach out to Jordan and
yeah,
then see if I can get a hold of Zay. I haven't really seen Zay very much active, but I do know Jordan
yeah.
is.
He's the least active out of the three of us, and if you reach out to Jordan, I guarantee you his first thing he's gonna do is message Zay immediately before you even get a chance to message him. So that you reaching out to Jordan will be enough to get in contact with Zay, and then you can still reach out to him because he'll reach out to Zay and tell him, hey, they're gonna be hitting you up, and then that'll give him a heads up to keep an eye out for a message from you guys. So he'll respond a little sooner.
Well, just to
I will.
let you know, Jordan definitely was watching the podcast because I seen him online not too long ago.
Oh, word.
I told you
Yeah,
Jordan,
he's always on that stuff.
yeah.
yeah, Jordan put you guys over big time. Before y'all even reached out, he was just like, uh, I just got finished on the podcast. They're actually really dope. And they asked me somebody I thought should be on there. I told them you, so they're gonna reach out. And he's like, I know you don't really do podcasts that much anymore, but I feel like this would be a good one. So when he told me that, I was like, well, if you vouch for him, that's all I need to know. And that's literally what I told him.
We appreciate that. We appreciate
Yeah, absolutely.
we take pride, like we told you before. We take pride in just basically just being down to earth, being real, and
Yeah.
we having fun. We having fun. You know what I mean?
I had a great time, bro. Like, I
We having
appreciate
fun.
y'all having me on here because this I'm all I am a little preemptive with podcasts because the amount that I get asked at this point,
Hmm.
and then the ones that I've done, a lot of times you get about 10 minutes in and you're like, yeah, I should have said no to this one. But that was not the case with y'all's even in the slightest bit. Like start to finish, entertained, been enjoying it, having a great time. So yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me on 100%.
We appreciate you, bro. We fans. We've been fans since the day we started watching Ashe wrestling. We was like,
Thank you.
yo, there's something about y'all that that we like the most, and we stuck with it ever since. You know what I mean? So like, Yeah, we definitely appreciate y'all. You know, we do, and like we take
Thank
pride in what we do. You know what I mean? For sure,
Hey, I'm bored.
for sure. So, with that being said, this is your boy, the insightful one, Bars, Bars Wrestling Media, Dynamic, Darkwing Dub, and y'all hear the theme music. Cream
Jeez.
Pie Poppy himself, Reyhan.
Hey, that's me. Hey.
We'll be back with another one. Ring Ropes and Turnbuckle Podcast. Deuces.
Following podcast scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, they are the Internet Podcast.